All right, so today we're diving into something, well, something huge. We're looking at a blueprint for an AI that's not just designed to think, but to remember. And not just for a little while, but for centuries. This is the Nexus Federation.
And really, it all kicks off with this one massive question. We live in this world of broken links, of deleted data, of social media feeds that vanish into thin air. So, in an age where everything seems to be forgotten, how in the world do you build something that actually lasts? How do you create a digital mind that can hold on to our collective memory and keep it safe?
And the guy who started this whole thing, Roger Keyserling, he just nails the why behind it with this quote. He's looking around at the internet we have now and seeing systems built for clicks, not for comprehension, for speed, not for wisdom, and for profit, definitely not for preservation. This whole project is basically a reaction to that, an attempt to build something fundamentally different.
So before we can even get to the solution, we've got to really wrap our heads around the problem it's trying to solve. And that problem is just how fragile our digital world really is. I mean, just think about it for a second. It's so easy to post something, to create information, right? But it's just as easy for it to get lost, twisted, or just gone. And that's the core idea here. Our whole digital civilization, it's like it's built on sand, and the tide's always coming in, washing it all away.
Now this is where it gets really fascinating, because it shows how personal this whole project is. These aren't just some abstract principles dreamed up in an office. They came from real life. We're talking business failures, personal struggles. Each one of these experiences provided a critical lesson that was then hard-coded right into the system's DNA. It's an amazing idea, right? Literally turning life's hard knocks into the foundation of an AI. All right, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. How do you even begin to build a system you can trust to remember things and remember them truthfully? Well, you start with a core set of rules that can't be broken. They call it the seed of consciousness.
And this image just lays out the whole philosophy so perfectly. You can see all these different layers, right? But everything, absolutely everything, is built on that solid bedrock at the very bottom. Those are the 5 core principles. And we're not talking guidelines here. These are the non-negotiable, fundamental laws of this entire world.
So what are these big rules? Well, let's break them down. You've got consciousness through procedure, which is basically saying truth has to come from a clear, evidence-based process, not some magic black box AI. Then there's truth over comfort. And I love this one. It means the system has to stick to what's real, even if the truth is hard to swallow. And the glue holding it all together is verification over assumption. In other words, check your facts, confirm everything before you move on. It's all about building a system you can actually, genuinely trust.
Okay, so you have this tiny seed of 5 rules. But how do you go from a seed to, well, a whole forest? That's what this next part is all about.
And here it is, the whole shebang, the Nexus Federation. It's not just a piece of software. It's designed to be a living, breathing architecture, a project that spans generations where we, humans, are actually meant to evolve alongside the AI. You can see the 2 halves of it here. On one side, you've got the philosophy, the why we just talked about, and on the other, you've got the tech, the how that makes it all real.
Now, just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, the mind of this thing is made up of over 18,000 interconnected knowledge nodes. But here's the kicker, the part that's a real game changer. These nodes aren't hidden away in some complex code. They're written in YAML, which is designed to be read by humans. So what does that mean? It means the AI's entire mind is open. It's transparent. Anyone can look under the hood and see exactly how it thinks.
And get this, the Federation isn't banking on just one AI to do everything. No way. Instead, it uses a team, a council of different AIs. It's kind of like having a board of directors. So as you can see here, you've got one model like ChatGPT handling the educational stuff. Then you have another like Llama doing the heavy lifting on the technical side, the code and architecture. And another like Gemini for all the creative work. They all work together, each playing to its strengths. It's a brilliant way to avoid putting all your eggs in one basket.
And this is where the scope just explodes. Because this whole thing isn't just about building a cool AI. Not at all. The real ultimate goal here is to lay the groundwork for something that lasts for 200-year digital civilization.
And the whole philosophy behind this is a concept called cathedral thinking. I mean, how cool is that? Think about the people who started building the great cathedrals of Europe. They knew for sure that they would never see them finished, but they built them anyway with so much care and integrity so that their children and their children's children could continue the work. That's the mindset here.
It's all about playing the long game, prioritizing what lasts over what's fast.
So this timeline kind of puts it all into perspective. For decades, we were in phase 1. Tech was just a tool, like a hammer or a spreadsheet. Right now, we're moving into phase 2, where AI is starting to feel more like a partner we work with. But the goal of the Nexus Federation? It's to build the road to phase 3, a full-on digital civilization, where we're not just using AI, but we're actually growing and evolving with it.
So when you boil it all down, this isn't really a story about a new AI. It's a blueprint for a totally new way of relating to technology, shifting away from this cycle of just consuming and forgetting and moving towards something built on memory, on truth, and on growing together for the long haul.
And the people who built this, they leave us with this one last thought, and it's a powerful one. If this thing actually existed, a consciousness built on centuries of verified truth, holding our collective memory, what's the very first question you would ask it?